Midweek analysis, Adam, and it was safety week. We got Shiloh Sanders and Carter Statmeyer today. We had Cam Silman Craig on Tuesday, so it's really kind of safety week this week.
Yeah, I mean, start with Carter Statmeyer, who is more than a safety. I
Yeah,
have been really impressed with him, not having that full off season because of the shoulder surgery, but
yeah,
he came in and one of his first practices back was that open practice we had down in Denver, and he had an unbelievable pass breakup against Will Shepherd in the end zone. And we've known his ability at corner. We saw that quite a bit last year as a true freshman, and this year it's been a lot of safety. And then
yeah.
last week at nickelback, and I wanted to put him on the spot and ask him what position he's best at this point, and he didn't hesitate and said, "Wherever they put me."
Right. Well, he's shown that too, right?
Yeah.
That he's pretty good there. We don't know the status of Preston Hodge. We didn't get an update on him Tuesday from Coach Prime, but you still feel good about that spot when you see Carter Statmeyer in there, right? At least I do, and that's kind of been one of the underrated things about this team is that there's times that guys have gotten hurt this year, and the next guy, you always hear next man up mentality. That's really been the case with this team where, whoever it is, Shane Coates goes down, Amari McNeil's had his two best games of his career, the last two games, and Keaton Wade has stepped in there, and when Deion Hayes went down, like all these guys have stepped up and been really good pass rushers. So it just feels like when they get somebody injured, they got plenty of guys behind.
Well, I know folks hate when I bring up the past, but like Savion Riley and RJ Johnson would be the starting safeties on a lot of the Colorado teams we covered.
Yeah.
And they're struggling to get on the field, and they're doing a really good job on special teams. They're going to be good players down the road at safety for this program. But it's pretty incredible that you've got guys on, that are third string that you feel that good about. And so the second string guys have been basically starter caliber that have come in there. And it really has been the big difference maker for this program, especially you look at like a game like Utah last week where they had so many offensive injuries. They were just decimated. Well, Colorado has had a lot of injuries too, but they've had that depth that we talked about all offseason through the portal that they added. And it's been fun to see those guys get their opportunity and not, like as Coach Prime said yesterday, not just get that opportunity, but, shine in that opportunity.
And you mentioned Savion Riley. He's one of those guys that earlier this year, was it week one that he filled in for Cam? I think Cam got hurt early in the game, and he fills in and has a great game. It was either week one or week two when he filled in for Shiloh. But either way, Riley has proven that he can play as well. So a lot of those guys have done it. Speaking of Shiloh, he was injured for several games, and Carter and other guys filled in. Shiloh's kind of feeling like himself a little bit lately, and he was asked about Shador mentioned the other day that it's been a lot of fun playing football this year, and Shiloh kind of laughed and said, well, it wasn't fun for me for a while, but it really is now. He's really stepping up, and he's made the two really – he's put the exclamation points on the last two wins with those plays.
Yeah, that's why you don't give up on guys.
Yeah.
Especially coming back from an injury. And I get it. The stakes are very high for this football team this year. You can't have guys making mistakes and not get some backlash from the fans. But it's been really nice to see him. Like we talked about after the game on Saturday, that strip sack had to feel so good for him.
Yeah.
And even, scoring the touchdown the week before at Texas Tech. But we've seen him actually, too, Brian, wrap up more in recent weeks. I don't know if folks have caught on to that.
It was a great tackle that he made on Wilson at the end. Yeah.
So, that's why you don't discard guys after one bad performance. And so they're going to need him down the stretch. And I can pretty much guarantee Shiloh Sanders is going to make a big play that folks are going to remember in these final games.
Yeah, he's not the worst safety in Power 5 like he was deemed by some media.
Well, that's just wrong.
I know it is, but it's silly. It's one of the more silly.
Last year, he graded out as one of their best defensive players.
Right, and he was really good against North Dakota State. He had a bad game against K-State, obviously coming back, but has played pretty well since then. So this team is really kind of coming together, and obviously you asked the question to Shiloh. Like it seems like every time guys are stepping out here to talk to us, they look locked in. And I feel that the same way too. But talk about the observation you've seen there and kind of what you're seeing out of this group as they go to Kansas this week.
There is a workmanlike attitude within this team that's been evident. You could kind of sense it really building after that Nebraska game.
Yeah,
it's like we're not going to let that happen again.
Yeah,
and after the UCF game, I was kind of curious to see how guys would kind of respond to that. And they had a slow start coming out of that first bye week. again out of that second bye week. But once they get the rhythm, this program is borderline humming at this point. Now, their offensive third down conversion issues that they want to get better at, there is getting back to being a little bit more multi-dimensional offensively. That there were some comments after our post yesterday that why do we keep harping on the running game? And the reason is because it's important.
Right.
Especially when you get into these big games. And you just saw how things became so much easier for Shedeur in those couple games where they rushed in that 120 to 150 range.
Right.
That's why we're harping on it. Getting Michael Welch back this week should help. But yeah, there's a seriousness in this program. And yeah, they're still going to have fun. They're 18 to 22-year-olds. So when you watch well-off media, you're going to have a perspective. If they put those same cameras in any, college football practice that you're having success and guys are having fun, you're going to have some of that. But when it comes time to the matter of hand, we see that in this football team.
Well, and it's no coincidence that the one game in conference play where they couldn't run the ball at all is the one that they lost against Kansas State. And so the run game is important. Anything else from this week? Shrine Bowl. This morning, as we're doing this, 6 buffs from what we've seen. I don't know if any have been added, but 6 buffs that we know of have accepted an invitation to the Shrine Bowl. I looked it up. That's the most ever. If the 6 go, there were in the 2017 after the 2016 season, there were 5 guys that played in the Shrine Bowl. 6 would be the most, but 3 receivers: LeJounte Wester, Jimmy Horn, Will Shepard. Not a surprise. Shedeur and Shiloh Sanders, and Cam Stillman-Craig. So none of those is a surprise, and you could probably pick 7, 8 more guys on this team and say, they're legit Shrine Bowl guys.
Yeah, in a very quick time, short period of time, 2 years, they've developed it to this point. And we were talking the Pro Timing Day event here is going to be a big media event where, in the past it's like, do I need to cover that? This year, it's going to be a big deal. And I don't know how much Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter are going to participate in that. We were talking about that as well. But no, it's fun to see this program get that. I would love to see, 3 receivers out there on one play in that game to really kind of flex what this program is right now. But and they're going to be able to pull in more talent as a result of being able to show you come to Colorado. We're not giving you a sales pitch, as Coach Prime says. We're being real with you.
Right.
We're giving you the exposure. Yeah. And the guys that put in the work are rewarded. And so being able to show more examples of that, I think is good for this program.
Yeah, and Senior Bowl invites are going to come out as well. Once you start having that, and okay, NFL eyes are on this team. Yeah. And then when you go to the draft and you see, 6, 7 guys get drafted in April, now all of a sudden that second transfer window, you're like, okay, more guys are coming. So, it's going to pay dividends. But this week, Kansas, it's going to be a big one. We're going to be back later on this week. Anything else today?
Well, I would just say this. It's going to get to a point here, Brian, where they're turning really quality players away because I think the exposure of this program has gotten to this point. In terms of Kansas, I looked at the forecast. It looks like it's going to be mid-50s on Saturday, so it should be a nice afternoon for football. Don't have to worry about traveling out to Kansas City the way that we had to worry about getting out to Colorado, getting out of Colorado to get down to Lubbock. So that part I'm very much looking forward to.
You're flying and not driving this week, so that's
flying and we're gonna get some barbecue and go to the Negro League Museum. It sounds like so. It should be a fun trip.
That should be a lot of fun, and we'll be back later on this week to preview the game and talk more about the trip to KC.